here we go. This is a tutorial on how to do a handstand. It's going to be straight to the point, nice and short, cut and dry. So we'll have other tutorials for other things if you have any questions about anything leading up to this. But the general for handstands is you're going to be in your lunge position. So whatever your favorite leg is. Whatever your favorite leg is, you're going to put it out, bent, just like that, lunge out. You're going to keep your arms fairly straight and stable, like if someone was pushing against you, you could lock them out. As you put your hands down, you want your back leg to kick up barely, just like this. That right there is the lever point for you to go up into a handstand. If that feels fairly comfortable for you, you should kick up a little bit more and more. Like so. Common problems in handstands is when you do a handstand, people tend to kick a lot harder than they need to. If you're just starting out, just give small kicks, and the whole thing is people want to hold handstands as long as possible. They're like, how do I do it? And the best way to describe it is when you get like the initial motion, you just work on that until it feels comfortable, and then it'll get longer and longer. So you work up into the handstand, all the way up, just like this until it feels comfortable. Then you work on stabilizing. And the best way to describe stabilizing your handstand to not move when you're doing a handstand, wrist, then your shoulders and hips always resting on top of each other. If you can think of like a totem pole. So whenever you displace it, it's going to start falling and you're going to have to adjust your weight. The easiest way to do that is when you're in your handstand, you barely bend your arms to kind of teeter-totter your weight. So all you're trying to do is when you feel out of place, something's off balance, like your hips or your shoulders. One of those need to get back into place with your wrist. So you need everything over your wrist as you go. See? The other common problems is when you do your handstands, people tend to look straight down at the ground, which builds a natural arch in your back. So when people do a handstand, they look at their hands and they have that little arch. Think if you stacked a stack of books on top of each other and it starts to bow, it starts to sway. Well, when you arch your back, that's what you have, that bow, and that's why you always feel off balance when you do it. So that's another tidbit. Another common mistake when you do it, people like to arch their feet over. They like to bend their legs. If I were you, technique always comes first to me. For this, at least for this. Some other skills I might teach you, like a cheater's way, but for this, you want good technique for it. If you bend your legs, I know one thing for bending your legs. When you bend your legs, it lowers your center of balance. So your center of balance when you're like a pole just like this, if you had a stick and you had it right here and you had a dish plate on top of it, that's your center of balance. The dish plate's your center of balance. But if you had a tuna can and you had the dish on top of the tuna can, that's what happens when you bend your legs. You lower your center of gravity and you expand it. So it's a lot easier to balance out. The handstand is probably the hardest to balance out compared to like having your legs out, just like that. So handstand, this is probably the hardest way, but technique, physically it looks a lot cleaner, but you can also do the handstands like this. But it's not very appealing to the eyes. And that's it. If you have any questions, just give me some comments. I have my email down there. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment. And that's it.